can I relax, calm myself down, and tell my mind that everything is okay? These are some of the words that I told myself when I had an anxiety attack. It was frightening and by far the scariest feeling that I've ever experienced in my life. Have you or known someone that has experienced not being able to relax and not being able to stop your mind from thinking that something is wrong? All of these symptoms are examples that the mind goes through with anxiety. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, anxiety disorder is the most common mental illness in the US today, affecting over 40 million adults. That's 18% of the population. You might be wondering, why should I pay attention to the person in front of me? Anxiety, everyone deals with anxiety in their everyday life. But the one I'm going to be talking about is what happens when the mind cannot control itself. I ask that you give me no more than 5 minutes of your time, and you will walk away from this experience knowing more of the forms of anxiety, how what goes through the minds of people dealing with anxiety, and how to cope with this condition. After all, after learning more about anxiety, we are more likely to develop this mental disorder and all the other mental illnesses. So knowing more about it will probably come in handy someday. I will begin by talking about the different forms of anxiety. To know and understand anxiety disorder, you must know the various types of disorder. Anxiety disorder is a category of mental disorder characterized by feeling anxiety or fear. It can be a generalized phobia, panic disorder, post-traumatic disorder, separation anxiety, situational anxiety, and obsessive compulsive disorder. These conditions can affect a person in their everyday life, even when they're being confronted with their fears, remembering a traumatic event that happened in their life, or just simply by having an attack. Some are genetically passed on, but a lot are due to excessive use of alcohol, caffeine, stress, fear, and sometimes drug addiction withdrawals. Even though there are many forms of anxiety, the symptoms are all pretty similar. Not being able to relax, inability to sleep, dry mouth, tingling, feeling in their extremities. All of these things I experienced personally. And the scary thing about it is when your mind telling you that something is wrong, even though the doctors has confirmed that your labs and tests turn out to be normal. Do you ever wonder what goes in the mind of a person dealing with anxiety? Have you ever been dozing off for a nap, but then jolted awake because you felt like you were falling for a split second? An anxiety attack is exactly that feeling in your chest, but it can go for hours and sometimes days. This quote is by a student named Savannah who dealt with generalized anxiety disorder. They start to question every move and decision they make affecting their everyday life. They lose self-confidence and and lose their ability to see the positive in everything they do because of fear of failing or embarrassment. Now that you know the different types of anxiety and what goes through the minds of a person dealing with this disorder, you might want to know how they cope with this anxiety. Learning how to cope with anxiety is very important because it helps prevent excessive use of addictive anti-anxiety medication. Talking to therapists, attending group exercises, having therapy with the family are all great ways of dealing with anxiety. Simply by walking away, do what you learn to calm down can take away those bad thoughts. What I've learned is by simply resting your mind is the best way to cope with anxiety. Now that you are more informed of anxiety disorder, I would leave you with a final thought. I've shared my experience with anxiety, and going through that experience has inspired me to learn more and educate as much people as I can. I hope that I've succeeded with increasing your knowledge of the different types of anxiety and what goes through their minds, and what ways to cope with anxiety. Remember that billions of people deal with this form of mental illness, and I believe through education and learning more about it will help prevent and lessen the effects of anxiety. Next time you meet or take care of a patient with anxiety, keep in mind, I will end with this quote by Dan Millman. You don't have to control your thoughts. You just have to stop letting them control you. Thank you.